We're here. We're live.
How you doing, buddy?
Get your drink down. Let's get this thing rolling, buddy.
All right. Water in the morning.
Morning. Good morning. It is morning. Morning. Corey, it's good to have you. I don't know. Kind of surprised you with some stuff, so it's gonna be good. I didn't give you a layout or nothing. That's what I love about this. We're just gonna run.
We're gonna run. That's right.
We're gonna run hot. We're gonna see what Corey's all about, and it's gonna be fun, man. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to start digging in to see what he's got.
Oh, I'm nervous, but it's all right.
Are you?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how.
Should
we'll see
not
if
be nervous.
See if I produce your content that you need.
I just want to talk, man. That's all. I don't need a lot. I'm a simple guy. I don't need a lot.
Will you tell me where to start? What would you like to know about myself?
Well, I think I just want. I mean, talk to me here. You're reigning out of the big town of Augusta, right around there.
Yep.
For some people that don't know Augusta, Wisconsin.
Yep.
Throw me at that. What is that?
So,
what is that town?
Augusta is an interesting and unique place. I grew up out on Lake Eau Claire, just out, which is about 5 miles out of Augusta, in the country. Never really went into town much. But when I decided to start a business, I decided Augusta was going to be it, and I did that. I started a sign company out of Augusta and just fell headlong into my appreciation for the town and the people and everything that it had to offer. I got into city government pretty quick, and that's just been Augusta's been my life. We were going to build a couple of years ago in Augusta, and that was when the prices of everything just went absolute berserk right around the 2020. And where I remember looking at plans, and our electric fuses went from $6 to $60, and just everything just got real expensive. So we ended up purchasing a house that we kind of fell in love with just outside of Altoona, between Altoona and Fall Creek. So and now we're kind of looking at coming back and building and doing that all again now that prices, they haven't gone down, but they've at least settled down. So going back to Augusta and making Augusta. My kids have gone to Augusta. My wife was a teacher's aide and kind of a substitute teacher in Augusta now, and I just keep coming back to Augusta. So Augusta's been my home base.
Small town, USA.
It's a small town. It's a small town that has everything that a small town should have, and it's very, very rare to find those now. You have your hardware store, your grocery store, your land, your lumber yard, your dentist, your chiropractor, your bakery. There's still a bakery in town, for goodness sake. So,
it's a badass bakery. Too.
It's a badass bakery.
Just for the record, like for a fat kid, like I love that bakery. I'm just saying. You probably don't have that problem, but for me,
I definitely battle it. Sweets are delicious.
And so they got a new owner now too.
Yes.
Right. And that lady's wild, man. She's awesome. She's
definitely has a personality.
Doesn't she? I stopped in there. I don't know. It's probably the summer or something, and we stopped in there, and I'm like, this place has like some just awesome baked goods. I'm like, we got to go there. Every time I go through town, like it's a little ways. What is it from Eau Claire? Like
20 miles.
20 miles. Yep. Yeah. So it's not
yep.
too far, but. And I usually don't go that way. It's east of Eau Claire. So we stopped there, and I walked in there because the old guy was an old like Marine guy.
Yep.
And
Bob.
Bob,
yep.
Yeah, great dude. He used to do our pizza crust back in the day, and he did it for a long time actually. And so then I stopped in there. I knew he had sold it, but I'm like, maybe they're still, hopefully they're still doing the same stuff, know. And I walked in there, and that lady, I don't even know her name. Do you know her?
I feel bad that I don't.
Yeah.
I can't.
But
she's
such a personality.
Yep.
She's like, oh, I got this, I got that, I got this. I'm like, holy cats, like this is unbelievable. Yeah. And but she was intense, and of course when I got there, it was like later in the morning, and completely picked through. Like those guys just picked it through. So I'm like,
yep.
I'll take whatever you got. And she goes, well, these are good. And I'm like, send it. I don't care. Just put them in there. I'm buying it for the employees, and
that's cool.
And I said, just fill up a basket or a freaking box or whatever, and we'll just go from there. Because they were like, and she was so cool. But Augusta's one of those towns. Like, I feel like everybody's super cool. Of course, I'm not involved as much as you are, but I feel like it's a good small town feel. Like it
is.
I'm originally from a small town too, so like
really,
where
are you from?
Cumberland, Wisconsin.
I knew that.
And it's a little bit bigger than Augusta, but not much. I don't think.
I was gonna say not much.
But it's I do love that small town stuff. There's obviously pros and cons to that, I think. I mean,
do you think that Osseo has that, doesn't it?
Osseo 100% has that.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, Osseo is kind of like a second home for me. I mean, I lived in Osseo right out of high school. You know, I did my time worked at the Norski Nook and did all, you worked
at the Nook?
I did. Heck yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Yep. For the original legend. Well, I guess not the original. Jerry. I worked for Jerry. Sure.
Oh.
That's how I know Jerry.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I actually lived above the old Norski Nook, the original Norski Nook. I lived in that apartment above there for
no kidding.
a couple of years. Yep. Loved it. I loved Osseo. So Osseo was one of those. It was unique too because it had the small town feel on one end of it, and on the other end you had the interstate and the hustle and the bustle and all of that. So
it really is like that, isn't it? It's kind of a cool town that way because you do kind of feel like you got to get moving up on top of the hill. Like there's just, what I mean? Yeah. I mean, the tractor trailers are in, the semi trucks are in and out, and then you go downtown and it's like this small town atmosphere. It's kind of a unique town. I mean, it's got a lot of the, major interstate stuff, Highway 10, Highway 53, 94, but so there's a lot of boom into it. There's a lot of people going in and out of it, but yeah, it still has a very much small town. You still talk to everybody, like, hey, here's Jimmy at the Osseo Plumbing or something. So, it's cool.
It's funny you mentioned that. So I was on, I try to kind of limit my social media lately, just to keep my own sanity, but I was strolling through and I noticed like in the Osseo has its own page, Facebook page, and there was people on there talking about the new Quick Trip down there. And I found it fascinating because some people were like, oh, they should have put it up by the interstate and things like that. And I got on there and I said, I think a lot of people are missing the uniqueness of redoing it where it is. Because if you put it up by the interstate and you go into Quick Trip to get the things everybody goes to Quick Trip for, you're not going to see, I mean, you'll see some of the familiar faces, but there'll be just lots of people you don't know.
Yeah.
But by keeping it where it is down at that intersection, it's still going to be the same local. You're going to have occasional people just because it's a bit of an intersection down there, but it's not on the interstate. So, it's got a little, I think it'll have a little bit more hometown nice, feeling. I mean, when you grow up in the area, all the kids, all your friends worked all the kids that I ran with in Osseo worked at the Quick Trip and, that kind of thing. So it's going to kind of keep that tradition, which is kind of cool, I think.
I love that perspective. I'm serious. Like, I never thought about it like that. I'm just like, I'm serious. That's a cool way. Like that's
where my brain works, I think.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm with you, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's tough to keep that small hometown mentality and as the world just expands like this and goes like that. And I don't know. That's why I kind of fight to go back to Augusta. That's why I fight to keep Augusta like that. I mean, I think Augusta has so much to offer because you don't have to drive 20 minutes to Eau Claire to get most anything and whatever, and I think Osseo is another one that is kind of like that. I mean, Osseo definitely has a lot of things right there for it,
sure.
I just like that stuff. Like I said, I travel a lot, and especially out west. I mean, you don't see that anymore.
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that.
But what? Out west?
Yeah, dude, I'm serious.
Okay.
Like I want to know. We got to talk about. Since you hit that, we're gonna hit that because that's on my list. You see my list?
Yep,
that's my list. That's my list. That's on the list of the out west thing. I follow your adventures out there, and it's of course for anybody that's looking for Corey Bauch on that's your handle on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. Like I mean you don't have anything fancy. Yeah, just his name. and he likes to post pictures and cool stuff. You're a photographer.
I dabble, yes.
And so, and I think you do a great job with your dabbling.
Thank you.
And so, but when he goes out to, like, you talk to us about that. Like, where do you go? Like, I know you got a little spot, like your little secret honey hole.
So,
if you can tell us that.
Yeah, no problem. I it's one of my favorite topics in the world. I love it. So what happened is I got to a place in life where I thought I wanted to have a piece of property out west, Montana, in the mountains, a cabin. A cabin. That's what I want. Cabin in the woods that I can go to. Contacted a couple of realtors out there, and nobody really had anything. I get an email. I'm sitting at a wedding with the family, and I get an email that a realtor out there doesn't have a property with a cabin on, but has a property that I could put a cabin on if I wanted to. And it was relatively easy to get to. The hitch is that it was a gold mining claim property. Excuse me. So I'm like, well, what does that entail? He's like, well, you can put a cabin on it, yada yada, but you don't own the land. You own the minerals and everything. But because you own the minerals, you get to put a structure on there to mine it. No, and mining just means going in it and digging a hole and playing around. Yeah. As long as you fiddle around with it as a civilian, you can do all this stuff. I thought, okay, that's because I had mentioned if you found the right spot, I'd build something. So I don't need anything big and fancy, nothing like that. So cool, great. So I bought it sight unseen just because I thought it was kind of a cool adventure, thing.
Yeah.
And that was in Montana. So, but then as I often do, I got hyper focused and fixated on it, and I started buying these up all over. And then what happened is my favorite ones to find are ones with old mining cabins already on them. So the cabins are pretty bad, pretty rough. I have one in Colorado that was pretty salvageable, and my cousins and I, we go out, and I'm certainly not as handy as they are, and I bring them out, and even bring a couple friends, and we've started to redo some of these cabins and make them usable, I guess is the term. And that's what I do. I have to, because of the fact that I own these or under mining claims, I do have to go out there and I have to check on them 4 times a year, do some paperwork, do some things like that, and it all has to get submitted. And then I started actually making money on them because one of the things, the reason that these come up is because nobody mines like they used to in the old days. So you don't go down with a hammer, dig a hole and go down with a hammer and pick, or you don't, sit there with a pan and pan, in the water. You can, and it's fun to do that. You might find some things and have some luck. And I've had a couple people that go out and on them and pan especially and find some small stuff, but you're not going to get rich off it, necessarily.
But could you?
But yes, if you do it with a couple $1 million of investment and you get the permits, because how you do it now is you go in and you scrape it all up, yeah, and you process it through the machines, and you have to amplify it into a large industry basically, and nobody can really get the permits anymore because, well, and you might be familiar with this when we did the sand stuff around the area, but nobody can get permits anymore because you are tearing down. I'm looking at that photo of the mountain. You're tearing down the side of a mountain. Granted, you're going to put it all back, but you're making an ugly hole for a while, and it just people just don't want that. It's strip mining, and you don't want that. So, but I got smart and kind of started to realize a pattern that every once in a while, a big company or somebody slick can get the permits and get the equipment. So go back to Montana. The Montana property it's a twin mine. It's called. So my mine shaft goes in one side of the mountain at the peak, and then on the other side is another shaft that goes in, and these are supposed to meet in the middle at one time, and that never happened. So they got divided off and sold as different claims. Well, when we were there on our first visit with the family and looking at it, these two brothers are on the other side of the mountain, and they're just going to town with some old raggedy equipment and whatever. So they managed. So I go down and talk to them. They managed to get the life savings and the money. They landed a permit to do it, and then they took, like I said, their life savings and leased some equipment. and they started tearing out that side of the mountain and processing and doing it over one summer. Following summer, they had themselves brand new fancy equipment and had paid for everything that they did. So they did it. They nailed it. And then as they're making their way towards me, the idea would be, okay, will you sell your claim, or will you, do you want to come in on this, or do you want a percentage of it, or something like that? That's a conversation. Actually, I'll be going out this spring and talking to them, because they'll be right up. They'll be to me this year. So,
really?
And then, so I got smart. I learned it that way, and then I got smart and started buying some other ones, and I've sold a couple of my claims already, just outright, to people that have gotten that. And then I always say my big retirement one is I got one out in California. It's an old Donald Trump marble granite mine. So it was owned by the Trump, one of the Trump industries, for all of the marble and stuff in like his towers, his buildings, and everything like that.
Really?
But when they were doing it, when they were pulling that out, they were finding gold.
Wow.
So but they abandoned that because it is what it is, and they couldn't get the permits back. When they were done with it, they just let it go. And then I ended up buying that up, and then there's just adjacent to me is a major corporation, which in California is crazy to think that you could get a permit in California to do it, but they did it. And they're butting right up to me too, headed straight towards me.
Wow.
So, so I have to go out there, and then I just enjoy the time, and I don't,
you go on adventures.
Go on adventures. Yep.
I mean, it looks like you're always on adventures. You're always looking. I mean, and that's good, dude. That's awesome. Like
I have been blessed in the fact that I can do that. I do not take it for granted. I do not. My family likes to go with me sometimes, but it is an adventure. I mean, my wife will tell you you're using the same word, and she's like, I think this time we're gonna let you go on one of your own adventures, because last time, we were driving this really sketchy road, and the kids were nervous, and I'm nervous. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But and I don't do anything too stupid especially when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
I've got 2 mines in Arizona that I've got to get into, and I've just got to get, I've got to get my cousins around.
You go into.
You betcha. Yep.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But again, I don't do anything too dangerous, because especially if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But like when I've got my cousins with me, I mean, those boys will crawl in any hole.
Yeah, you're like, fuck it, we're going.
Like, let's go. And I get nervous with them. I just wanted to go in and make sure it was safe, and make sure, whatever.
Yeah.
These guys are finding holes to crawl in, and it's wild. But yeah, it's always an adventure. That's for sure. I just go out and I call it windshield time. It just allows me to just drive.
It's kind of nice though.
I absolutely love it.
It's kind of a peaceful thing. It's kind of nice to just like, this is it,
Yep.
I'm with you. I mean, even when I drive back and forth to Eau Claire and work, I mean, it's 20 minutes, but it's 20 minutes of just like, it's 100%. Like a little windshield time. And, I go out to North Dakota every year. I try to get out there a couple times a year.
To hunt? What are you doing
to hunt, duck hunt. And,
duck hunt, cool.
And pheasants and whatever, bring the dogs out. And it's, it's a 6-hour drive. It's not as far as Arizona, but I think a guy needs that, or a girl. I'm not like trying to do whatever, but I think it's kind of nice to just like, I run into my buddies and we end up having a freaking hoot. But I think sometimes you just need a little decompression and just fucking chill, and it's good. And there's a lot of nothing in North Dakota, and I can appreciate a lot of nothing. I love a lot of nothing, actually.
That's a great way of saying it.
I joke around because there's an old grave site out there. There's an old like cemetery. Although they got a new fence up, and I told my kids and my wife, I said, I think you need to bury me out here. Like, this is sweet out here. It's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's like I take a ton of photos of it. I just love it. It's kind of like, I don't think that's morbid, but it's just a cool spot. And
no, it's not.
I always I joke around like that's where
me too.
That's where I'm at. Like, this is it. Like, and they told me that they weren't going to do that anyway. So
I have an ongoing joke with my cousins because the Colorado cabin is where I always say I want my ashes spread or something. That's what I want. But last year, it would be a year and a half ago, we hauled a I shouldn't say we. Those boys hiked a wood stove up to that cabin, and we strapped it across between them or whatever, and they hiked it up the back of the mountain just so we could get that thing up to the cabin. And I made the joke now that I'm not going to get myself cremated. I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stay whole. So they have to haul my ass to the top of that mountain again.
Don't make it easy for them.
That's right. Nope.
Don't make it easy
ashes
for them.
is too easy to carry.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to carry my whole body.
You got the whole thing mummified.
Put on as much weight as I can before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He died 300 pounds. Yeah. This is for you guys.
We're taking them up in pieces. This is ridiculous.
We're going to quarter them out. That's terrible. But, yeah, that's cool. So, I'm just curious. So, like, when you're wandering around in the backcountry up there in Colorado, Montana, wherever you're at, what kind of guns you got on you?
Multiple.
I mean, what are we running? Like 454 Casuls, 10 millimeters? What do we got? Like, dude, I know you're a gun dude. So I know you are. So talk to me here.
I stay pretty basic, all honesty, because I need something that's functional and just reliable. And like I said, I do take multiple because, something goes wrong and something, there's stuff out there. I've never run into anything that I've needed. I did just miss, I think, a potential scary situation as far as like a squatter on one of them. But that was he or she or whoever. I think I just missed them. So, I mean, like the fire was still smoldering, kind of missed them. So I don't know if they saw or heard me coming or how that what, but they packed up and got out pretty quick. So, and all my cabins are open to the general public. So it's not like that, I'm not. I keep them open because I've always had the mentality that, if I lock them up tight, then somebody's going to break in because they're going to think there's something.
They'll tear them apart.
I get a lot of contact from snowshoers and skiers that hike up and just stay there for the night or whatever. That's why we moved this. We got the stove and things up there. So,
yeah, it's cool.
In an emergency, it can be dangerous out there. So, but yeah, back to the gun. Yeah, just 45. My 45 is my
Okay.
That's my 1911. That's my most reliable little pistol, and then a 410, little 22 410 over under.
Yeah.
That's kind of a handy little thing to have too.
It is.
And I've got my 410 loaded with a different rounds, so I know the first shot. The first shot's is the first shot's bird. I forgot my rotation now, but then I'll get some buck, and then I've got like self-defense in there, so it's all rotate. So it depends on what I need, So I'll take one shot, and then I'll know the next one's going to be,
this
down,
is it.
taking down shot or something like that. So,
I say that because I know a couple guys that go out there a lot, and they do kind of same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know if they own property out there, but I know they go out there and they're actually panners. They're gold,
really,
they're gold digging out there and stuff, and gems and stuff. So they're always kind of looking. And the one guy, I mean, he's such a badass too. He's got this monster beard. He's just he's wild. But he runs. I mean, he's packing 454 Casuls, like the stub nose ones,
really?
Man. Like, so he comes out and he's like, got him, and I'm like, I feel like that's overkill, and he's like, nah, dude, it's never overkill.
Yeah, he's probably closer to reality than I
don't know. I feel like you got to have a gun out there.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it,
100%.
And especially when you're digging in some old gold mines. I mean, I don't even know if I'd be worried about critters. I'd be more worried about like squatters and things like that, or just people like just that aren't good.
Mine are all fenced off and fenced up. You kind of have to do that. Technically, legally, you're supposed to have it, so kids and whatever can't get in there and get lost. And if it goes straight down or at a 45, you're putting up a fence around it, not and then not just covering it. And then if it's going into the side of the mountain like California is, I've got a big gate up there.
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm never too worried about squatters in the cabin or in the caves or in the mines. I'm more nervous, just on the property sometimes too.
Yeah.
Just on the property. That tends to get, that's where I would.
And you're camping up there too on some of those. You run your little
I have multiple rigs. I have a weird thing where I think almost every time I go, I'm taking something different because I have a weird thing where I buy and build lots of different types of vehicles, just for the fun of it, and just depends on the property I'm going to is usually the vehicle I'll take. So modified Jeeps or
Right.
a little Toyota, I'm currently working on a little diesel GMC. So, but my big thing last year, I turned 50 last year, and I bought myself a van that I set up. I bought it because it was pretty well set up the way it is. But then I just redid it and put it in a nice big kitchen, and it's a ProMaster, so you can stand up in it or whatever,
Yeah.
So I put a bed and a nice kitchen. I like to cook, so I like to cook out there. So you slide the door open, got the mountains sitting right there, and you just make supper while you're looking at the mountains or whatever, That's my sweet spot, right? Like doing that. That's what I love to do.
That's a badass rig too. I've seen it.
Oh, thanks. It turned out pretty awesome.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, it turned out pretty awesome. So. But it's just me and or the dog in that because I didn't put in a big bed or anything like that. The wife and I took it for a long weekend, and we made it work. But it's just set up for one person and maybe a dog, and it's awesome.
What's the dog's name again?
Dog's name is Picard.
Yeah, that's right.
After Star Trek, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I'm telling you, like Star Wars. You're a Star Wars guy too.
Yes,
like it's insane.
Any nerdy things, I tend to. Yep.
I love it though. That's what I find very interesting with you. I love that you're into a lot of that stuff, and that's freaking cool, man. Like that Smokey and the Bandit, you know.
Finally got my car.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like you're a car guy, you got some stuff. The Smokey and the Bandit. I remember you were just jacked about that.
Oh God, that's been a dream of mine since since I can remember, just to have that car.
You let it rip? You still drive around, let it rip?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a weird thing. I did not drive it last year because I had a weird. I hate talking about myself like this, but I bought a lift.
I love it, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. I bought a lift to put the car on so I could stack because, I said, I have a car collection, so I could stack them.
Yep.
And I got the car that is underneath it. The battery went dead when it was underneath it, just parked over the winter, and the battery is buried inside the car, and you can't access it. You can't just jump it. You can't open the hood and jump. It's a Porsche, so you have to go in. You literally have to take the wheels and the fender off, and then get into it. But the problem is the car is parked at the leg of the lift where you would have to do all that. So you
Good
can't.
luck.
So I have to come up with a very clever way, and I think it's a very clever way to try to get that car off that lift and or get that Porsche out of there. And unfortunately, I think it's just going to be hooking onto it and yank, and
that sucks.
Sucks. It sucks bad because I'm just I don't want to wreck that because both those cars have been cars I've wanted since I've been young. I have this list.
What Porsche is it?
That's what's that?
What Porsche is that?
A 911. I mean, it's just. Again, it's so silly.
Yeah,
you're smirking, and I'm just so nervous about it. But that's what I've had. I've had this list ever since I was a kid. I love cars. I love not just cars, but certain vehicles. I mean, the old Broncos, and goofy things like that. And I collected this list. I have one more car on this list that I have yet to find, and I found a couple of them. They just weren't the one that I'm looking for. But once that's done, then I'm pretty excited. Then I get to call it complete. But
let me ask you this:
if anybody out there knows where there's a Chrysler Conquest, let me know.
Nice.
Got to be black.
Got to be black. Let me ask you this because I love. I know. I'm like you. I like what you're doing. Like you got a list. Mm-hmm. You got a list that you're pounding out. Like you want this car, you want this car, you want this thing, you want that thing. What's motivating you to do that? What's the drive? Like, well, how do you get to that point? Because I mean, I know I talk to a lot of people that want to do stuff, and they're like, God, I want this, or I want that, but how do you find that drive to get that? I mean, it's a goal, right? Like it's a goal.
I think I don't know that I would use the word goal before I would use the word challenge. So I like
excellent
goofy challenges. And they're goofy for me, and they're I wouldn't say they're goofy for me. They're probably more goofy when people look at them. But I have a gift and a curse, where, I mean, nowadays you diagnose it as hyperfocus, but I can learn something new if I get into something, I can learn it extremely fast to a fault because that's all I do is eat and sleep and breathe it. So a perfect example is right now I've got into cooking, and I don't mean like just cooking. I mean like, Michelin star level,
Oh yeah,
hype,
dude.
just, yeah. And again, I've been blessed enough that I can suddenly, the kitchen is, when we bought this house, one of the biggest things about it was the kitchen, and I am filling this kitchen with goofy equipment that I'm buying and seeing, and I mean, just again, eat, sleep, and breathe it for the last 3 months. That's what I've been doing, just lost in this. And I mean, I without bragging, I think I've got it down to pretty, to a pretty good science. So I guess to bring it back, so that's what happens. I get focused on something, and that's just all it consumes me and takes over. I mean, and then I become, in the process, I become this person of jack of all trades kind of a thing, or whatever, and I mean, nobody would come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for a piece of wood, or not a piece of wood, but a wooden dresser or a wooden structure or something. But you know what? 2 years ago, I was so hyper focused on woodworking that I can build you anything. I've got the equipment, everything. Now, granted, it all kind of just sits there, and I don't really mess with it too much anymore. But I have that talent now, and I can pull it out if I need it, and that's just the way things are with me. I don't know if that answers your question at all. But.
Yeah. I get you. Do you apply that towards other things like work? I mean, is that like when you do all that stuff, like you're hyper focused on, whether a car or a destination out west or whatever it is. Do you find that it's like even with your professional work, the things that you do, that you've gone through, the things that you've done, do you visualize that? I mean, is that, what I mean? Like for people that are like looking at trying to do, because you're quite the entrepreneur too, you got a lot of stuff going on, and that's for a lot of guys that are out there starting, younger folks, or just people that are looking for change, man, like, something different. And I'll go through that. And like, for me I'll give you a good example. What we're doing right now. Like, I'm like you a lot of ways. Like I love this podcast. I want to do something like this. I'm not good at it. I'm just started. Like, I don't know anything, but the last couple of weeks I've spent so much time following other podcasters, doing all the stuff, looking at equipment, hardware, looking at how people format it, like everything. Like I visualize what I want, and I apply everything else to do it. And then I just, with a little help and a little budge from like my boy Bethke over there, and teaming up with other people to do this. Gabby, she's in the background too. We actually got a crew here today. It's pretty awesome. But to do all that, like I visualized that in what I want to do. And it's, maybe this is more of a side gig, for what I'm doing, but I enjoy it and I needed it. So I wanted to do something. So I focused on it, and I just said, fuck it, we're doing it, And so with you and applying with the things that you do, like I know, when you started, I mean, you've done so many things, and I, do you got any good examples?
Well,
like, I mean,
I want to pause for just 1 second and mention, because I think you're rolling right past something that you're not. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit for. So you mentioned when you started this, you wanted to, you started looking at other podcasts and listening to other things. But do you see how do you feel how your brain is actually changing, and that focus? Focus is the word. You're focusing on what you want. So you're beginning to, everything that you do, it's going to feel like everything that you do is kind of now based around this new thing that you've got.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna make it about me again for just a minute. But I remember noticing this when I got into super nerdy. I got into magic for a while, like just goofy cards. Started with card magic. It started as a fidget thing, just because I'm a fidgeter. Got into card magic, got into big magic, and my brain had started to modify where I would look at something and I'd look at this guitar that's hanging up over here and I would say, yeah, God, what could a guy do with that guitar that would make it disappear or make it an illusion or some sort of magic out of that guitar. So I found my brain just modifying and it all in consuming. So like you're talking about, you get into podcasts, you get into wanting to create a podcast, and you really start noticing things around you and people around you. And this person would be interesting to have on a podcast. And this, I'm listening to this podcast and I notice how their production is this and their, all that stuff. So you have to allow yourself, you have to allow that to happen. I think that's hyperfixation as far as I'm concerned. So, I just wanted to say that that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing that what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to do that. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, he's crazy. He's just he's just thinking about this nonstop.
I'm fucking crazy too. Yeah, well, I am crazy. I mean,
so you can have both, I guess. Yeah,
I'm that too for sure. But
so when it comes to me, it's easy to say, oh, anybody can start a business or anybody can do something. It's the simple trick is to just find a need and fill a need. So, and allow yourself to evolve. So, perfect example, I got into properties just because a friend and I started buying properties and rentals basically is all it was. And fixing up because we thought we could be, carpenters and I didn't really have the drive. I like the ideas of the rentals and the house, but I didn't really have the drive to go in and do the hammer and nail and tearing out sheetrock and stuff. And that was all his thing. I mean, he loved that stuff. So, okay, we'll team up, but you're going to be doing that stuff and I'm going to help. I'll decorate it on the swing side. You just have to work together that way. But, so at the same time, I had a brother that with a disability and a heart transplant and things like that. So, we were looking for, my parents were getting up there in age, he was getting up and he had all this medication. So we were looking for like a group home, for lack of a better term, that he, a good one. And we toured some, just didn't like it. We just didn't like what we saw. So my partner and I just came up with the idea let's just make our own. How hard can that be? How hard can it be? Well, it turned out it's incredibly hard and state, we're not big government guys by any means, but it's state watched and state, lots of paperwork. Neither one of us like paperwork, but you trudge through and you do it. And because I had a reason to do it, and so I just did that. Well, then come to find out, we are actually pretty good at it. And we had because we'd have my brother come in and then some other guys his age, and holy crap, these guys are succeeding. They're doing great. And so suddenly we're getting asked to open more and look at more and do more, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done because of everything and but it's also the most rewarding. So, and I love it, and I wouldn't give it up. It's the most stress I've ever had. But I could walk away from that and probably be a lot less stress and wouldn't need so much windshield time. And
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's been 13 years to build that, and it's doing great. It's doing wonderful. But so that's a filling of a need. That wasn't me following something that I wanted to do or desired to do. The sign company that I had, that was me wanting to stay in the art field and do something, and I had the skill set to do that, and I launched that, and that's what got me the ability to do everything else. But that was me just doing what I loved, graphic design and all that stuff. So I don't have a secret formula because there's all the businesses and all those things are all different. They're all different reasons why I did them, but most of them are just because I like doing that. I like filling that gap in my life, not necessarily providing that service because it is needed. So I mean, again, I would have to assume that you're the same way. Are you not? I mean, you didn't do. I mean, I wish. That's why I was asking you before about. You gotta give us some of your secrets a little bit too, because how did you get into? I mean, you were just working Northwoods, right? And you just decided, hey, Jerry, I'm gonna keep going with this. Yeah. I mean, that building is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And one of my secret fantasies is always to have a little dive bar or something, but that is epic. I mean, that facility is absolutely amazing. And how do you just decide to get into that and do that? You know, that's wild. That's a big step, man.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, I honestly, yeah, it was one of those things that I just, I told myself that I wanted to have my own place. I wanted to do my own business, you know, and you just keep working to do the goals.
So why did you want your own? Why does it have to be yours? Why can't you just do it for somebody else if you love doing it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't explain it, can you?
Dude, that's a good question, but I think it's a double-edged sword of it, though. You know what I mean? It's like I love the fact that, you know, I can try to make something work, or you die by that.
Okay, I was going to say, you like the risk idea.
Yeah, the risk. I mean, like I'm one of those guys, and like I said, I'm a little crazy. I enjoy a little bit of the stress. I strive. I maybe strive on that more than I should, and more than what my family probably wants me to. But but it's one of those things that I just enjoy. I had a goal to do that, and so then I just kept driving to do that until I was able to actually do it. And so when I actually took it over, you know, I mean, yeah, I worked as. I mean, I'll tell you a story. This is one of my favorite stories to tell all the time. I had gotten out of college in Eau Claire, and I was working at Olive Garden, and I had been there for a couple of years. I went for hotel restaurant management with a culinary background, and so that was my thing. Like, I love that. I actually liked hotels better, but anyways, I started working at Olive Garden, and I actually was going to, after I got done graduating, I was actually going to Orlando, Florida, which is where Darden Restaurants, Olive Garden, all that stuff. They wanted me to go down there for management school. Like there's a management training, and then they were from there. I was going to be like, yeah, fire away, go wherever, right? And you know, at that time you're 21, 22 years old. You know, you got life by the balls. You think you just let it rip. You can go wherever, you know. And I thought, well, that's cool. I'm not a corporate guy though, so it wasn't like my thing. But whatever, like that's a good starting point. The money was really good. You know, shit. I think it was getting paid like $50,000 a year, like. And that was like in 97, 98. Wow. So that's solid money, you know? And, but then all of a sudden, hey, I see this ad and over at, hiring for a brew pub. And I'm like, shit, that's pretty badass. What is that? You know, and I thought that's kind of cool. So then, I went to apply for that. Right. So I went over there and they had these big interviews over at the Baymont, hotel in Eau Claire there, and so I went in there. Now I'm fresh out of college. I've had interviews, but nothing like legit. Like, you know, just like I come in and talk, blah, blah, blah. You know, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I get all dressed up, right? You know, I got this, my polo on, my slacks on. I come peeling up in my 85 CJ7 that's, you know, beat the shit, and I've had since I was 16 years old. And I come peeling in this like, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. I get in there, do this interview. There's literally like a room of like 5, 6 people. Jerry was in there with his regional managers from the Norsky Nook. I don't know if you remember Amy Neiman.
Yep, Amy, and
absolutely. And it was a whole crew. And Tim Kelly, who was the brewmaster at the time. So I go in there and I do this interview, and I completely fucking bomb it. Like, I mean, like, I remember this question. They said, well, you know, you just got done with hotel restaurant management and culinary and stuff. How do you think you can apply that towards this job? I remember that as clear as day. And I sat there, and I wish I would have had a camera on me, because I think I blinked a couple times, and I was like, I didn't even know. I didn't even answer the question. I don't even think, I just was like, yeah, it's going to be good, you know?
It's going to be good.
I mean, it was so dumb. Like, it was, I was so embarrassed. I mean, I totally got humbled, which was so, yeah. I mean, I believe in that 100%.
Yep.
I love that, being humbled. I think everybody needs it. But anyways, I left. I get in my 85 CJ7 and I rock it back to my apartment, and my roommate's like, how'd that go? I'm like, I pretty much bombed that. Like, there's no way in hell that I'm getting a call for that. So it flies by and never get a call, nothing. I was like, yeah, whatever. No harm, no foul. It's first time, like first official interview. And I bombed it, but whatever. Life's going to go on. Keep rolling, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, keep rolling. Exactly.
And, so then one day, I was at Olive Garden, and we used to do these hospi runs. And so the hospi runs were where we would take a business and we would put in like salad, breadsticks, lasagna, like pans of it, and just drop it off. Like, hey, thanks for coming in. Hopefully good luck with the new business, or happy lunch or whatever. We do these hospi runs and whatever. So I'm like, they're building this Northwoods, right? They're building this Northwoods. It's just right around the corner from the Olive Garden. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go down there. I mean, I did an interview. I got fucking bombed. Like, I'm going to just tackle it. I don't even care.
Right. Yep.
So I go in there and I drop it off, and I dropped it off to this lady, Pam Staff, who is a good friend of mine still to this day. I love her to death. Pam, you're the best. And, I dropped it off there, and I talked to everybody, and I looked around. I was nosy. I'm like, man, this would have been such a cool place to work at. Too bad I sucked,
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever, life goes on, right? I get back to the Olive Garden. I get a phone call, and I'm like, hey, yeah, this is Sean, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hey, can you come down after work? We'd like to sit and chat with you.
We could give you another shot at this.
Oh, I didn't even know. Like, I don't know. Like, what are they, so I'm like, that's cool. I'll come down. Cause it was a cool building. Like, it was all log.
Oh yeah.
Big wood fireplace, like all the shit that I love, you know? And I'm like, yeah. So I go back down there, and here's Pam Arnovic, who was Amy Neiman's sister.
Yep.
And I think Tim might've been there too at that one. I don't remember, but, so they came in, they sat down, and they're like, dude, you want to, we're looking for a dining room manager, like assistant dining room manager. And I'm like, and I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my head, I totally bombed another interview for like a bar manager. Like, I was like, geez, this is terrible. So I'm like, maybe they don't even know who I am.
I was going to say, did they make the connection?
No, I don't think they did. So then I was like, all right, perfect. I'm going to play this cool. Like, I don't know shit, So I go over there and I'm like talking to them. And they're like, yeah, you want to do it? And I'm sitting there going, $8.60 an hour, man.
Oh.
Like $8.60 an hour. I said, fuck it. When do I start?
Really?
Like it was so dumb. And, but it was, I wasn't a corporate guy. I liked this. I liked the idea. I liked brewing beer, like they're brewing beer now. Like,
right.
Who does that shit? Like nobody does that, 97, nobody did that. I mean, there was,
I remember it being absolutely revolutionary.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable.
Like,
I mean,
Claire, what?
Yeah. And they had people that were like, "Oh God, you can't brew beer." I mean, nobody's gonna drink that shit. Like, that's not, it's Leinenkugel's here or Busch Light Busch Light wasn't even a thing. It was like, where's Miller Lite, man? Like, this is it. Like Bud Light, Miller Lite. You're not gonna do that. So, I actually started doing that. I mean, I was assistant manager. I moved up to a bar manager pretty quickly. Opened up a store in Chautauqua. Was a GM up there. Ran that for a year, 3-4 years. I took a little hiatus in between, and then came back to Eau Claire, started doing that. Built another one, and I just built the one up in Cumberland. Started doing, came down here, like,
So are you a brew guy? I mean, is that? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, by default, I think. I mean, I think after
because you just learned it from doing it.
Yeah, like we brewed. Back in the day, we had to learn how to brew. Not learn how. It was more like so we could talk somewhat intelligently
Sure.
to customers about brewing. Like,
Sure.
so every one of us,
That's a good point.
all the managers, we did a brew session with Tim Kelly, and which was fun, and I liked it, and I joke around because honestly, if the only thing I did, and I'm lying to myself almost, but if the only thing I did was just brewed beer there, I would almost, I'd be a happy guy,
Really?
I mean, I do enjoy it. But I'm almost lying because like I said, I like more,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can only do the same monotonous thing for so long.
Yep.
And then it's like,
Yep.
okay, I got to do something different,
Yep.
So, I lie a little bit, but life would probably be a little bit easier if I just brewed, I don't think I'm great at it. I think I can hold my own, but, I think if I spent more time in it and got hyper focused on it, and really did that, I think, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt I would do it. It's
cool.
It's no different. I started doing that with barbecue, and we got hyper focused. I got like stupid in that. So and now it's like one of our top selling things that we have at the pub, so it's like,
that's awesome.
Wow. I really, I can relate to you in many ways, and when you sit there and say hyper focused on something, it's like, man, that's so like right. You nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it. Yeah, I get it. And sorry to talk a little bit back to me here, but
I always wanted to know how that developed because you and I met after you got to Osseo and all that. So I just never really. So one more question off that then. So how does the Walters come into play there?
The Walters, we for a lot of people that don't know, I mean, it was a big beer brand. It started in like 1890s. It's been around for. They ran it at operations in Eau Claire. They had multiple breweries throughout the Wisconsin for sure. They had another one out in Colorado in Pueblo. They still have one out in Pueblo. I have a licensee out there in Pueblo that brews Walters. We took it over. We took it over in 2009. They had the brewery was in operations until like the 80s, and then it was out of commission. Nobody ran it. They kind of went under. They had another guy that bought it, Mike Healy, and then that didn't really work out too well, or whatever. Lots of stories in there, but then in 2009 we just acquired the trademark and all the stuff, all the goodwill with the Walters. So we just started brewing it and tried to get it back, back in,
Okay.
And it's still number one seller for us, and
I would assume so.
We just still run it. It's an old beer, man. It's just
there was a Walters building at one time, right?
Yeah, right downtown Eau Claire. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, right off Eau Claire, right off of downtown, like off Barstool or whatever. But
I see in a couple bars around town, people have displayed bricks, that are labeled Walters Brewery or whatever. So I figured when the building came down, or there must be a building that came down.
Yeah, most of it came down. I think the bottling and stuff is still up, but it's just abandoned building now. But so that's been a good project for us. We like to dabble in that Walters a little bit.
Further expansions or things or any big projects coming up?
Yeah, we got projects all the time.
I was trying to get some behind the scenes secrets, but you're not giving them up.
No. We have I have one that's in the works, and I haven't. I mean, that's in the works, but we haven't really. There's nothing finalized with it yet, so it's kind of it's not quite there yet. But
cool.
Maybe Good. Maybe a spring of 26 here in a few months, maybe. Hopefully summer. I don't know. Very it's cool. Stupid. I'm like you, like to dig around in a lot of different things, but it is what it is. I love it.
Very cool.
But geez, man, what?
I have no idea what you're looking.
I don't even know.
Time?
Like we've been rolling with that.
What do we have for time, Brian? Are we gonna take up?
You're about an hour in.
Hour in.
Yeah, wow, that's unreal.
Well,
I feel like Corey's got a lot. I mean, we just touched the surface. I'm not going to waste his day though all day with him, but
It's fine.
but I definitely
I have to have some mystery to me yet too. You know, you can't get all of my
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of secrets in there, and there's probably things I don't want to know either. But no, I there's a lot of things I wanted to touch a little bit about. And I'm not gonna get political with you, so don't get political on me. But I'll tell you this. So one thing that I appreciate about you, and the things that I love to read, and you've been quiet, and you said something earlier about it, and it kind of ticks me off because I really want you to be back on there. The social media stuff, man. Like I am not a debater. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to fight anybody on words on the internet. I can't do that. That's just not my talent. But I appreciate what you can bring to the table, man. Like, I love the argument. I love it. Whether it's, some of it's political.
I'm going to play this on loop for my wife, by the way.
Yeah, so. No. She's going to love that too, I'm sure. But,
no, I did take a bit of a hiatus from it. It was again a hyper focused, all consuming type of thing, and I enjoy a good debate. I get pretty, I get pretty tough sometimes. On, I try to be professional. I try to be nice about it. But some people say, oh, that you're getting personal, and I'm like, well, sometimes you have to bring it down to allow somebody to understand on a personal level. Like, if your son did this or whatever, or something, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head, but it does help people to understand it and think, okay, let me put this situation, instead of this situation happening across the country that we're talking about, let's bring it into our town or our home or whatever, and have that discussion, so that we both can understand what we're talking about from a better perspective. And I've had a lot of people contact me and say, especially after a discussion, to be like, I've been thinking about our conversation for days now, and I get it now. I see where you were coming from, and I'll say, oftentimes, well, I'm right back to you. I get it. You're not necessarily a bad person if we don't agree, politically, because I tend to be more libertarian, less government, that type of thing. I'm not a big government guy, but I think the people that are bigger government people are decent people. They just want to take care of their neighbors, and they want everyone just to take care of their neighbors, and they want that community. They want the same community that I want, but they just want it from a perspective of everybody. Let's just everybody get along and everybody do that, and so it's hard to not agree with that. But right. At the same time, I like the idea of people just being able to do, take care of themselves and help others if you can. Don't force me to do something that I don't want to do, or something, or rely on. I don't want to have to rely on anybody else, and including the government, I guess, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So anyway, I got off on a little bit of rant there, but no, I appreciate it. I try, like I said, I have no problem with somebody calling me out if I get too tough or too mean. So I definitely don't want to come off like that, but I'm sure it does.
I think you're pretty fair.
I try to be.
I mean, I think you're fair. Yeah, you have your points and your views, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think and I think you're respectful of other people too. So I think that's good. I think you influence a lot of people on that. I mean, just reading your posts and comments and all the stuff that I've I love digging in a little, Corey. I mean, I love that stuff. So, I'm glad
I could be that.
Yeah, no, dude, but it's good though. Like, I think there's, it's good that you have your opinions, and you do definitely see things, maybe differently on some things, and pretty close to like what everybody else does too. And so,
good.
And I think that's important. I think, you have a good influence on people, and I think that's and you use it for good, not evil, and that's
I try.
And that's I think that's what I appreciate about you, and I think anybody that's got a voice and is willing to say it, and if they use it for the good, not evil, that's pretty. I mean, that's to go back to like our discussion with that with that Sean Ryan, you know, and that and that hacker, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
that. I mean, there's a guy that could use that for evil, man. Like
Yep.
he could be a hacker,
Yep.
and he, you know, right now he's doing the things good for, you know, whether it's a Roblox or whatever it is that, you know, we were talking about. But, you know, I think that's the part that I think where you're good at it, and I think you're good at letting people kind of know, and whether it's a different perspective, I think you're respectful for it, and I think that you do have influence on people, and I think that's pretty badass, man. I think
Cool. I appreciate that.
I continue to do that. Don't. I mean, I know, and everybody's got to take a little break from the Facebook and the social media. I get it, man. Like it's. I've been pretty quiet myself. Until I started doing this again, then I'm like, okay, we're gonna roll with this. But you know, there's so much stuff on the TVs and, you know, whatever it is. I mean, I could tell you right now, my daughter and my wife went on a vacation last week, and it was just it was my son and I, and we were, you know, we had all the stuff that we had to do, but we never had the TV on once. Like,
That's awesome.
Like it was nothing. Yep. Like it was so like.
That's awesome.
I mean, I sat there in complete silence many nights, which was, and Brady was sitting, you know, just it was perfect, man. I just love that. So, it's good. So continue to do what you got to do. I love reading your stuff, man. I love the photos. I love the adventures. I love everything that you have. You know, I guess before we wrap this up, man, I want to know what I asked Brian this too, because it's, you know, we could still do this. It's January. I want to know what 26 is going to bring for you. Like, what do you got? You got any gold nuggets for people to kind of see, or what's some goals maybe, or anything to kind of close it up and just,
yeah,
you know?
Well, so I'll put a challenge out there for myself, actually.
Yeah.
So it's something I mentioned I was getting into cooking and things like that. I would and bring social media back into it. I would like to do a little cooking show, believe it or not, and bring in people like yourself, and I'm gonna currently I'm calling it Corey Can't Cook, and I just bring in somebody that can cook. They show me how to make something that they make well, and then in that process we just shoot the shit and have some fun and be silly for half hour or whatever it takes to do this. And I get to promote people and promote things and promote their business or promote, goofy things and just be silly. And that's in the very early stages, but it's a goal that I have that I would like to do for the fun of it, and see if it takes off and see if it can be something that's cool.
Dude, I love it, man. I'm not kidding you. I love it.
It's just I love completely random, but again, I get.
Dude, I love that shit though. That's what I'm talking about. I love that, and if there's anything that I can help you with, man.
Well, you're on the list. You're on the short list for being a guest. Absolutely.
That's scary, but no, man. I'd love to help you with any kind of project like that, dude. I mean, obviously, I love the cooking stuff, so definitely.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Cool. Whatever you need, man. I'll help you out. I love it. So
awesome. Well, thanks for having me, man. This has
dude.
been awesome. Good luck with this. This is
it's fun.
Cool thing. Very
cool.
Yeah.
It's like you and cooking. Just fuck it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love it, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the stuff that you do, and much success in the future. And if there's anything that I can help you with, which
absolutely,
it's not much, but I could throw some throw some cooking around. I got some knife skills, maybe. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed, Corey. It was awesome, man. I love you, man. Take it easy, and
thanks, Sean.
Stay hungry, stay humble, right?
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Take it easy. Have a good one.
Keep it rolling.